Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Lorie Show. I don't know what's going on with my head up here, but we will not make no notice. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Hello. Okay, yay. It's so good to be here. I'm excited about our show today, even though I'm not exactly sure what God is going to place in our hearts to talk about. The state of the world, that's the subject. The state of the world. Ay, ay, ay. Well, it's good to be here with you guys, wherever you are all over the world. Where do we start? Where do we start? I was just on Instagram sharing a little bit about what Jesus has placed on my heart to talk about, which is all about this incredible spiritual battle that we are in. And the freedom and the empowerment and the sovereignty that comes when we start to understand what we're in right now, what's happening. He calls it monumentous, monumentous, monumental and momentous, monumental and momentous. That's how he describes what we are going through right now. And it is a monumental moment on this planet to be able to begin to actually see this really intense game with a new lens, with new eyes. And peeling back, wow, it's not just about the deep state or the corruption with the government or the Illuminati or all these things that we've been becoming more and more aware of. It's more than that. It's energetic. It's like, what? Wait a second. This is an energetic battle. Like we are here to remember this energetic battle. We're here to recognize this energetic battle because it's this energetic battle that began 7,000 years ago. It's that battle that started that is keeping us from shifting into this new timeline that's opening up for humanity. And so, as this new timeline is opening up for humanity, and there is this very, very real and intentional shift happening, one needs to begin to become aware of the energetic infiltration that has been pouring down on this planet and in our minds for thousands of years, so that we can begin to choose the actual path and timeline that we want to move down. If we don't recognize this energetic battle, we will remain in more of the illusion of the game. So there's all these pieces that we're going to start recognizing, right? That we're going to start realizing is part of the illusion, and we're already doing that. So many people began to see through the illusion during COVID. So many people. There is a large percentage of people that are starting to see through the illusion because of what has happened. If you're following the Charlie Kirk case, people are really going to wake up through that moment and what actually has transpired in that moment. People are waking up out of illusions when they recognize more and more of what is actually stemming from these wars that we are continuing to create on this planet. There's all these opportunities that are going to present itself over and over again that will show us new illusions within the game that we need to see. However, the most prominent illusion is the energetic infiltration. And I'm going to dive into that in my class that I'm teaching April 23rd, The Clearing. I'm teaching a class called The Clearing, April 23rd. Um, and it's all about this spiritual battle, but it's truly what is most important because it is what will bring us back into alignment with God. It will stop us from, all the healing and fixing and all the stuff that we do that isn't going to work anymore. It is the real deep awakening that humanity will recognize, and it's going to change the whole trajectory of this planet when people start to begin to really understand the energetic battle. It's everything, in my opinion. Like I've said, it's the biggest subject that Jesus has taught me in the last 6 months. It's the biggest. I mean, it's what our book is all about that we're writing. Jesus Speaks. It's all about the spiritual battle. I'm like, Jesus, what do you want to share with the world? And like, it's the spiritual battle, how it began, what my role is, i.e., Jesus, what his role is in that, and understanding how it's occurring on the planet right now, what it's done to us and for us. Um, yeah, it's crazy. Um, Sorry, my computer's doing something really weird. Um, I don't know what's going on. It's like flickering. Anywho, um, can you guys give me a second while I try to fix something? Okay, I think my computer is really weird and wonky. Okay, I'm back. Let me know if I'm back. I don't know what just happened. Are you guys here? Let me know if you guys are here. I think you are. I think you are. Maybe? Somebody here? Anyone here? Okay, there you guys are. I'm back. All right. Where should we begin? Where should we begin? Where should I start today? Where should I start? Well, this is something that I've been going through this past week, so I'll share it with all of you. One of the things that we're going to start noticing more and more as we walk through this shift in consciousness with God, which is really what's going to happen. We're going to start walking with God. Um, Thank God. Thank God we're going to start walking with God. It's everything. It's everything. Um, so one of the things that starts happening as you start embodying and integrating and connecting deeper and deeper to God, God is this omnipresent, powerful light. It's the beginning and the end of everything. It's the medicine for us. It's everything. When we start connecting to it more and more, when we start accessing it, talking to it, speaking to it, inviting it in, asking it for help, just recognizing that it's a presence that is way more profound than the persona and personality that you live as in the illusion, it's going to ask and require you to have this divine faith, this faith in divine will. Um, what is that? You can do that once. Letting go of the old. Um, yeah, put some topics down if you guys want me to chit chat about something today, because I'm really open to talking about anything. But I will share the divine will, the divine will, the divine will. Um, Divine will works in many different ways. One of the ways that divine will works is, um, being able to recognize that what you want, right? What we want and how we want it to go, what it should look like, what it needs to look like. So all of the manifestation techniques that we do in life, um, God doesn't work in that realm. So God will say, "That's great. I'm happy to hear all of these things," right? Like if God had a voice, divine will, your divinity, your divine essence that's leading you will say, "That's great. That's fabulous. Great, wonderful. You're ready," etc. And then God will pluck you out, kind of leave you dangling for a moment where you'll feel out of control. You'll feel like you don't know what's happening. You'll feel like you're not sure, like you need to grab the wheel, like I need to take more control. There'll be this knee jerk reaction of needing to take steps, make a to do list, action items, right? There's a part of us that is very uncomfortable when we hand things to God, say, "God, take over, show me, guide me, I'm ready." But then when push comes to shove and God says, "Okay, I'm gonna now lift you out of this moment. I'm gonna lift you out of where you're at, and I'm going to move you." That moment of being lifted out, which could take days or months, sometimes even years of being lifted out of what you're in and moved to what's coming or what you're going to be dropped back into, that's a very uncomfortable experience for humanity, which is why we very rarely will let divine will take over. We don't trust divine will yet. Yet, we will. Some of us do. Some of us are beginning to. Some of us are learning how to. But when you hand things to God and say, "God, show me, God, take me, God, guide me," and you have the faith that this will happen, you have the faith, meaning that it's gonna happen. I don't have to do anything. I believe that God's gonna lift me and show me and take me and drop me into something new. I know no matter what, I'm taken care of. I know no matter what, God's got me. I know no matter what, I can relax. No matter what, I can breathe. I know no matter what unravels, God's got me. No matter what unravels, God has me. No matter what unravels, I'm good. That's the faith you need to have when you start working with God, this presence. And you say to God, "Okay, God, I'm ready to move," right? This is what I did. "Okay, God, I'm ready to move. I'm ready to move. I'm ready to move out. I'm ready." And and I had ideas of what I wanted. But I also knew I'm familiar with working with God, so I was also familiar with the knowingness and the expectation almost that it could be something completely different than what my vision was, and that I was open to that, right? So when you work with God, you have to be open to something different arising instead of what you are specifically asking for. When you try to just get what you're asking for, you are blocking God's ability to bring you to what is actually for your highest good. And so, what we do many times is we will say what we want, we will create exactly what we want. But I want you to understand that your free will is creating that. Okay. Your free will is creating that. And your free will is based on programming. It's based on trauma. It's based on an ego. It's based on energetic infiltration your entire life. It's based on a lot of things. And it's not always, most of the time, it's not going to bring you to the highest outcome, which means the most aligned outcome. You don't actually know what is the highest aligned outcome for you. It's impossible for you to know. Your divinity, divine will knows. God's will knows what's the highest outcome for you. Okay. So when you are creating with God, when you are asking God for help, when you are wishing for things to shift in your life, by all means, have your checklist. I want it to look like this. I want it to look like this. It needs to be under this amount of money, or it needs to be this. Or, well, that's great. You can have all of that. But then you also have to realize that you're working with the master of all creation. You have to realize that that master knows way more than you do. God knows way more than you do. God is way more intelligent than your persona and personality that's creating. And so as you begin to create with this powerful essence, you have to hold this openness, okay? This openness that God knows more than you. And I'm going to trust that. Now I'm going to go look for a place. So when I started to say, I'm ready, I literally turned and I was like, to Jesus and I was like, okay, I'm ready to move. I'm ready to move. I'm ready to move. I'm ready to move. And as I began looking for places, I was very aware, and here's a piece you want to really pay attention to. I was very aware of my free will. Um, Free will is how I want it to go, and divine will. Divine will is the unknown, the mystery, the curiosity. It's like Lori knows what she wants, uh, but I know that divine will is going to bring me exactly what it is I need. So I know that I can play that game. I can dance with that. Um, so it took a couple of months. I saw a couple different places. I said no to a couple different places. And I played in this really interesting realm of did I miss out? Should I have taken that place? God, I don't know if I can afford that place. Safe here. I'm back at my place. I don't have to move. I feel so much better. I don't have to make the leap. I don't have to make the jump. Um, and for 2 months, I was teetering with this, the ability to really have faith that God's gonna bring me the house. And it's always very comfortable to be in what you know to be safe. It's very comfortable to be in this place that I've been in for 3 years. I can afford it. It's I'm sort of outgrown it energetically, but I know that I know what I can do in this space. I know I'm familiar with it. And God many times will ask you to take leaps of faith, which is you've got to be able to trust that if you're being guided to this next thing, that God's got you. Right. And a lot, this is these leaps of faith yeah, they're very, very, they can be very scary for you, right? But it's God taking you and saying, "Chunk," dropping you. Um, and many times we won't go. We'll just stay in the comfortable, which is okay, but just be aware of free will and divine will. Be aware of free will is me choosing comfortable, and divine will is saying, I need you to leap. And divine will works very easily, so and it works fast. So when you're in the flow with divine will, things will happen quickly. Now, the pull up won't happen quickly, so you may be, looking for a place for 2 months, or you may be looking for a new job for 6 months or a year, right? So that pull up where you're like, "Okay, God, let's go," and God pulls you, that could take that moment of being lifted up and trusting God, that could be, months. But when God places you in that divine place, whether it's in a relationship, a new house, a new career, whatever it is, that is what is easy. It will be smooth. It will just be smooth. There won't be hiccups. There won't be, I mean, there's always issues in life, right? But you'll feel a smoothness. You'll feel a flow to it. Like, God, it just worked out so easily. That is divine will. That now the again, I want to preference something. When you are lifted up, when you finally say, God, take me, God, show me, and you're in negotiations with God, with divine will, your free will and your divine will are playing together. That pause moment is very uncomfortable. Because you're trying to figure out what's yours, what's God's. Do I do this? Do I not do this? Do I go here? Do I not go here? Right. And so it can be a very uncomfortable place, but as soon as you let God show you, you keep handing it over, you keep trusting, you keep having faith, eventually God drops you and says, "This is the place." And then you have all your different emotions and your doubts and your fears. And when God showed me the place I was moving into, it was a much higher rent than I was prepared for, but I knew this was where God wanted me to be. I knew this was the next step. I knew I had to have a deeper sense of faith. Um, but it was interesting. So it happened really quickly. It was very easy. But I remember laying in bed where I remember I was trying to conjure up fear. I was like, I should be afraid right now. I should be nervous. I should be fearing all of these different things. And every time I tried to go into like a fear state, because I felt like that would be like the human thing to do, I kept watching Jesus pop in and say, "What are you doing? What are you're trying to bring yourself into fear?" I was like, "Yeah, I feel like I'm supposed to feel fear right now, but I don't feel anything." He's like, "Lorie, you're in divine flow. You're taken care of. You're going to be okay." It was just this knowingness, right? You're gonna be okay. You're following divine will. The hardest part of following divine will is that leap of being dropped down. It's very easy to say, "God, show me, God, show me, God, show me, God, show me." The hardest part is when you have to actually take the leap and let yourself be dropped into what's new. Maybe it's a new job where you're not making as much money. And you're going to say to yourself, "Nope, I'm not taking the job because it has to be dot, dot, dot." And yet God's dropping you into a job that for some reason you feel is the right job, but you're also like, "Well, no, I want it to be dot, 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 dot." But you feel like it's right. Or maybe you're in a relationship with a friend or a partner, a romantic partner, and everything seems to be going okay, but you're asking God for more guidance in your life. And all of a sudden, you're feeling like something needs to shift. You're feeling like either a conversation needs to happen, or you need to actually separate from this person, or you need to confront them on something. And that leap, once you start asking God for guidance, that leap where God takes you and says, "This is what you need to do," that's the scary piece. That's the moment of faith. That's the moment of, "Oh my God, can I trust? Can I believe? Can I allow? Can I do this?" That's when you really start to feel this presence around you. Do I trust it? Because you can't see it, you can't feel it. A lot of times you can't hear it. So it's this like, do I trust? Do I trust that it's dropping me in the right place? And there's this back and forth that you play with. There's this back and forth of, um, w- is this the right move? Is this not the right move? Do I do it? Do I not do it? Do I jump? Do I not jump? Do I take action? Do I not take action? Right? It's the divine will and the free will dance. But it's going to start to come up for a lot of us as we begin to integrate more with God. You know, you can't actually, it, we have this belief that that we are an aspect of God, which is true, but it's a whole different game. The knowingness that you're God or that there's an aspect of God in you, that's great, you know that, but to live with that divinity in you, to live with it, meaning that it's activated, that it's on, that it's moving in you, to know that that's happening means you know what divine will is. You cannot remain in control, creating and manifesting all these things if your divinity is turned on. Your whole idea of manifestation changes because you're not the one creating anymore. There's going to be a real big shift on this planet when we actually understand from a felt energetic sense what it actually means to have our divinity turned on, to actually know what it means to feel God within us. We will start to live very, very differently. Divinity, divine will take over. It is necessary, it is required, it is a step in the evolutionary shift in human consciousness. Your free will have to get out of the way. And so the more that you begin to embody and connect and communicate and invite God in, the more you ask it to activate you, the more you invite it to calm your nerves and create peace and calm. The more you engage with it, the more your own divinity will begin to activate. And as these things happen, you're going to slowly feel differently in your life. You're going to start living differently. You're going to start experiencing things differently. You're going to start seeing things differently. You're going to finally understand, most likely for the first time in your life, what it actually means to have an aspect of God inside of you, what it actually means to start living a little bit more God like, where we're going to actually tangibly, energetically, physically experience it. We're going to understand, we're going to know. Right now, most of what's happening on the planet is just information and knowledge. We talk about it, we read about it, we speak about it, but we're not actually living it from an embodied state. And so that's one of the big shifts that we're gonna start seeing in the next 10 to 15 years. So this piece that I'm speaking of, people are going to start speaking of living 5 years from now, 10 years from now. It's gonna become very common, this what we just talked about. Um, and really understanding the tangibility of it, the divine will versus the free will. How do I hand everything to God and let God guide me and show me, which is the most beautiful way to live life? You will be in awe. You will experience miracle after miracle all the time because you are handing everything to God, which is your own divinity as well. It goes hand in hand. Practice living from handing things to your divinity. Do you even know what that means, right? Do we even know how to? Right, right. So the true as collective consciousness on the planet right now, we're not there yet. People are not living in that divine state, um, as much as we would imagine humanity is, um, but we will. We will. So much is gonna change. So much is gonna change. You start seeing we're already seeing it's these really beautiful moments, it's chaotic, but it's these beautiful moments on the planet that are chaotic and horrific that slowly begin to chip away at our illusions, that chip away at our amnesia, that chip away at our um, disassociated way of being. It chips away at the infiltrated energies. It chips away at it all. And slowly but surely, based on what's happening in the external world, we slowly begin to come back to our divinity. We slowly begin to come back to God. We're going to slowly realize over and over again, after, with all the things happening on this planet, that the one place that we are most safe, that we are most aligned, that we are most clear, that we are most content is with God, the light of God, the true, tangible, physical energy of God. And you will know when somebody is in that space. You will feel it. You will hear it. You will begin to resonate with someone else's godliness activated in them. People can talk about God all they want, you won't feel it. If somebody has is embodying that God essence in them, you'll start to feel it. You'll be embodying it, somebody else will be embodying it, and you'll begin to recognize each other. You'll feel it in the way they speak, you'll feel it in the way they communicate, you'll feel it in the way their behaviors are, you'll start to feel it, and you'll start to notice the difference between people just speaking it, right? And preaching it and people that are actually truly embodied with it. And this is one of the most beautiful splits that we're going to see on this planet is the distinct difference between people that are actually beginning to embody God the way we're designed to. Hallelujah for that. And the people that are in disillusionment and still really stuck in the illusion and in fear, in greed, in pride, in power, in control. And we're going to see that on the planet. We're going to see greed become louder. We're going to see power become louder. We're going to see control become louder. We're going to see fear become even louder. We're going to see confusion become louder. All of these things that I'm speaking of is the opposite of God. So what we're watching right now on the world stage is the exact opposite of how godliness exists and experiences itself in form. It's the opposite. And what it's gifting us is the more that we see the opposite of who we are, the more we start to choose our divinity. We start saying, okay, something is very wrong here. I just need God. Something is very wrong here. I need stillness and breath. I need my divinity. Okay, something is very, very, very dark. If you're not noticing already, you're going to start noticing that there is some real, real dark satanic evil that we have to see that's been playing out on this planet for thousands of years. It is the spiritual battle. The satanic dark evil energy that you see playing out in people is the spiritual battle. And it is energetic, and it portrays itself to be beautiful. It portrays itself to be the one that's going to save you. It portrays itself to be the one that's going to help you. It portrays itself to be the one that's going to heal you. It's the wolf in sheep's clothing. And it's got all the tactics that we've seen for thousands of years, all the lies, all the deception, all the deceit, and it's what we're seeing right now on the planet. And it's a beautiful thing, of course, because you have to see what you are in, so we have to see this, and it's a beautiful thing because it is gonna bring people to God. The more we realize that what's controlling this entire planet is energetic, and the more evil we see it as, the more we're gonna say, Where is God? Like, where is God?" The more that we find ourselves going deeper, I mean, the amount of absurd murder that's been happening on this planet the last couple of years should be the devastating murder of innocent people on this planet. It should be breaking our hearts. It should be making us stop in our tracks and say, hmm, is this the same evil that has been controlling this planet for thousands of years? Or are these humans that have, decided to break free from the f the bloodlines that they've been in and are wreaking havoc on the planet? Probably a combination of both. But what it's showing us is, where's God? Where is God, and how do I call God in, and how do I serve humans? How do I help? How can I help? Even if it's just somebody in your neighborhood, somebody in your family, somebody in your church, somebody in your school, somebody in your yoga studio, somebody in your grocery store. It should be igniting within us the need to help. It should be opening our hearts. It should be creating that divine spark to be ignited. Dare I say that the more evil that we see on the planet, the more murdering of innocent children that we see on this planet, the more we should be activated within us to serve in some capacity. Our hearts should be opening, and we should say, you know what? I'm going to try to combat that evil by being of service today. I was driving past this homeless lady yesterday, um, and she had her whole setup set up on the side of the road out right past my right before my yoga studio. I've seen her many times, and I heard God say, "Pull around, pull over and talk to her. Like, just see if she needs anything, talk to her." And, and I just did it 'cause I do whatever God says. So I turned around, I just started chit-chatting with her. I bought her some stuff that she wanted, like a spray bottle and a big thing of water. She was a Jehovah's Witness, and she read the Bible to me, and, just a beautiful woman, and, we made friends, and, that's That that is what is important. We have been desensitized to being human. Truly, I'm not kidding. We've been desensitized to being of service. We've been desensitized. We are under so much stress and so much fear and so much information that we consume. In fact, we're so in our phones and in our computers, we don't even see the people that need help. We don't even see how God wants to put us to work because we're so angry about what Trump is doing, or we're so angry about what somebody else is doing, or we're so angry about what's happening in Iran, right? Or in Gaza, or whatever it is in the world. In what are some of the other countries in Africa that are being freaking these people are just being murdered? Um, Nigeria. It's you're it's a lot. It's a lot. And so what can I do? What can I do? Well, God says, go be of service. Go turn around and ask that one woman that you just saw sitting on the side of the road what she needs. What does she need? And she was very normal. We have this program that these people are crazy and that it's dangerous. It's a program. Sure, there's some people that maybe not quite right in the head, maybe, but it's a program. It's a program because what it is it keeps us in this spiritual battle, which is that these energies infiltrate us and they feed off of that fear. They feed listen, they can't these energies can't feed off service work. When I go and serve this woman Lisa yesterday, these dark nefarious energies, they had nothing to feed off of. They had to go find somebody else to feed off of because they weren't going to feed off me because I was living in divinity. I was living with God. I was walking with God. I was listening to God. I was letting God move me. I did what God said, not what those energies told me. She's dangerous. You don't know what she's going to do. That's the spiritual battle. That's the infiltration. It's everywhere. And it does that so that it can feed off of our fear, so that it can feed off of our separation from humanity, which the moment I connected with her, the moment I looked her in the eyes, the moment I spoke to her, our hearts opened. It was like, oh, hello, human. Oh, hello, human. Welcome to being human. Let's now be human together. Let's care about each other. Let's help each other. What do you need? That's that is the phase that humanity needs to begin to walk into. And that is why understanding the spiritual battle and the infiltration is so important because the infiltration is going to say, don't do that. What are you doing? That's a separate thing. That's not you. That is not part of your world. Oh, it's not? Pretty sure she's a human. I drive by her every day. She is very much a part of my family. So too is every other homeless person. They're a part of my family as well. How dare I ignore them? Or the children that don't have money to buy food or they don't have clothes, or the family that's struggling at the grocery store. They're my family. Well, how can we help? That we should be our hearts are going to start experiencing this. You're going to start experiencing this. So yes, when we look out at the world and we see this destructive, chaotic, horrific evil, unbelievable amount of insane evil that you can't wrap your head around. It won't make sense. You know what it's going to do? It's going to open your heart. It's going to allow for this split to become even more prevalent. Because what it's going to do is it's going to show you, I don't want this path. I want this path. I don't want to walk the path of the government telling me this or the politicians saying this or voting for the next president. I'm done. I'm going to go serve humans now. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take a $20 bill out and go buy a family food, or I'm gonna go pay a Target. You know, in Target, they have these things called this is completely ridiculous, but maybe not so ridiculous. Like, I don't have this big organization where I can go give food to like all these people yet, but I can do what I can do. One of the things they do in Target, they have these things called layaway. So families that don't have money and they need things, they'll put things on layaway and then they'll just keep paying it off until they can afford it. Sometimes I'll just go into Target and pay someone's layaway bill. And then Target just calls them, um, Target just calls them and says, you know, uh, your bill's been paid, you know? Um, so this is what's going to start happening. This is what's going to start happening. The and let it. Let's let this start happening. I mean, we're already consuming everything anyways. You might as well let that which you're consuming shift you into being more of service, letting God work through you, letting God show you. We can get so centered, so focused on our own stuff that we're dealing with, so focused on what we need and how we can get through it, or it's all about us. It's very, very self-centered, and that's okay. We need to look at ourselves and work on ourselves. Um, but the more you start connecting with God, the more you start inviting God into your life, the more you start praying, the more God's going to say, "I need you to go to work. I need you to go serve. I need you to stop at that store and do dot dot dot. I need you to." It's what's going to happen. If it's not already, you're just not maybe listening or following directions yet, right? But this is what we need to be doing. There needs to be more of that. And thank God there will be, because your divinity won't allow anything other than that. You will feel like you need to serve. It will be in your blood. Why? Because that's our divine, true state of being, is to be of service to humanity. They are our families. These humans are our families. And so our divine nature, as we begin to embody God's light more and more, is to help. How can I help? How can I help in any way? And when we do that, we are combating the horrific, disgusting wars that are playing out, the evil that's playing out, the deceit that's playing out, the greed that's playing out, the power that's playing out, the corruption that's playing out. It's just it's the catalyst. And we realize that we really are one big family on this planet. And we got some loud, obnoxious people running around running it. And we've got some insane energies that have been infiltrating us and keeping us from our divine nature, keeping us from serving humans in the smallest way that we could, right? Because it's a domino effect. It's a it y you do one thing, and then that person does something, and that person does something, and you energetically shift. You energetically shift yourself when you serve, and you shift that person when you serve. And God's gonna put you to work more and more. God's gonna put you to work. So pay attention, because there's a lot happening on the planet right now, right? If you're in the United States, you're watching our president do some very odd and strange things. You're watching other countries do some very odd and strange things. It's a very weird time right now. And so recognize that this is this is a shift in our consciousness right now. This is a pivotal, and like Jesus said, monumental and momentous, but monumental moment. Humanity is coming back to God. Humanity is going to be craving God. Humanity is going to be calling out for God. Because believe it or not, all of us that are like, I am God, God's in me, that's not going to be enough. We actually need the divine, energetic presence of God's divine light to come in and get the ball rolling and activate us and ignite us and move through us and get us. It's like the battery needs a charge. Okay. And God's light needs to come in to charge us up and get us going. And then our engine starts and away we go. And we always have this battery connected to this divinity, to this divine essence. But there are a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing on this planet right now. There is deception like we've never seen. And so feel into things, live as close as you can to your own, connection to God. Keep asking God, keep praying to God, keep inviting God into your life. Um, access Jesus, call in Jesus, speak to Jesus, talk to Jesus, walk with Jesus. Jesus said something really interesting to me yesterday. Um, he said something about, oh God, what did he say? It was about basically about religions. Um, like, oh man, I should have written it down. And he says this to me all the time, but it's like he wishes so badly that people would see him outside of any religion, right? That he's like, if you're a Muslim, call me in. If you're a Buddhist, call me in. If you're a Christian, call me in. If you're a Catholic, call me in. If you're an atheist, call me in. If you are uh, if you study Judaism, call me in. Which ones am I missing, right? I don't know, whatever I'm missing. But he says, just I am outside of all of that. I'm outside, I'm not in any of that. I don't belong in any of that. I don't belong. That's not why I'm here. And there's a frustration in a way because he's compartmentalized and he was never meant to be compartmentalized into anything ever. He never came in and said, I'm a compartmentalized religious figure that needs to be only experienced within this religious structure. And if you don't, then dot, dot, dot. Never. And so he's fighting against, in a way, energetically, people that have these misconstrued understandings of him based on thousands of years of programming. The other thing he said to me yesterday was, and he says this to me all the time, is if someone can just have a relationship with me, they will understand me. If they just began to have a relationship with me, they will begin to understand me. So many people think they understand him because they've read everything. They've read this book. I'm not talking about the Bible. They've read other books. They've read the Gnostic scriptures. They've read, spiritual channelings. They've read all these things, right? And so there's all these different things, thoughts, beliefs that you can take around who he is. But he's like, none of that matters. What matters is if you form a relationship, get to know me yourself, and then you make a judgment. Then you decide who I am. You figure it out. Most people that think they know me don't even have a relationship with me. They don't know what I feel like. They don't know what it's like to be with me, to sit with me. They don't invite me in. They simply read about me and talk about me and share what I believe or what I don't believe, but they don't actually have a living, breathing, real relationship with me. One of the other deep spiritual infiltrations on this planet is the program around Jesus. I would argue this is one of the deepest infiltrated programs on this planet, is what they have done, and they've done something with who Jesus is and why he was here, why he's here now. So when we speak about the spiritual battle in a couple of weeks in my master class, The Clearing, it's Jesus's teachings. And he's going to tell us, he's going to teach us what they did and why they did it. Because if they can keep us either from him or in fear with him, meaning that there is an underlying fear, there is a disempowerment, anything that has any sort of lower vibrational state connecting to him, then they have controlled the storyline. They've controlled the teachings. They've controlled how you see him, how you experience him, how you feel him. They've controlled it. If you have a knee-jerk reaction to Jesus, right? If you have some sort of underlying belief around Jesus, that's a program. It's been programmed into you because of the spiritual battle. They want you to think that. They want to keep you from him. They do. So good. You think that it means dot dot dot, that all these things, fabulous. You don't need to invite him in because you already have something else. Fabulous. That's the spiritual battle. They don't want you to do this. They don't want you to understand the power of Jesus. They want you to think of Jesus as a religion, as a Bible, as rules, as all the things, and therefore it will keep you from bringing him in, from understanding the power that he plays on this planet right now, the power that he has in the spiritual battle. By the way, also, if you do buy into Jesus, they want you to buy into Jesus the way they want you to. So they want you to buy in through specific scriptures, through specific storylines, through specific laws and rules. And hey, listen, if you do that, at least you're connecting with Jesus and you can begin to peel back what works for you and what doesn't, what resonates and what doesn't. You'll begin to feel him. All you have to do is start talking to him. All you have to do is start inviting him into your life. All you have to do is start to experience him. And then you'll start to feel him. And perhaps you'll start reading some of the scriptures and saying, yeah, this feels good. This feels right. You know, and sure, this is absolute blasphemy for people that are real hardcore Christians or Catholics. And that's okay too, right? It's all okay. All I'm saying is that a big, huge program that was infiltrated on this and put into place on this planet 2,000 years ago was the understanding of the power that Jesus has in our lives. Unfortunately, because if that wasn't there, everybody would be, I'm convinced the majority of people would be walking with Jesus every day, letting him help navigate their lives. Convinced of it. So it just goes to show, for me at least, the real intense uh, spiritual warfare that we've been in for thousands of years, and the tricky way in which it works. It works so subtly, so seductively in the mind that you don't even know that it's a program. I'm going to tell you something. You want to know if something's a program? If you have a knee-jerk reaction to something. What that means is that if I say the word Jehovah's Witness, you have a belief in there. Something pops in. If I say the word God, something pops in. If I say the word Jesus, something pops in. That's a program. We're programmed to think something. We're programmed to see something. We're programmed to have a thought or a belief about it, right? And if it's a real intense reaction, a cringe, absolutely not, no freaking way. That kind of knee jerk reaction, that's a program. Somebody implanted into your mind beliefs around something. Could even be an experience that you've had in the past, right? But it's implanted as a program that runs. And so if I say something against that program, meaning that it's going to come up against and rub that program in the wrong way, you're going to have a knee-jerk reaction. You are embedded in that program. You are in that program. That program runs how you think. That program runs your response. That program runs your thoughts about that. Jesus is a deep program, a deep program, all over the place. And so to be able to start peeling that back and saying, okay, well, what is he? Why is he here? What's he doing? What's he for? What does he feel like? Have I felt him? You know, he'll change your whole life. He'll change your whole life. The master class is it is going to be you can get it on the app, but you buy it separately. And then once you purchase the class, then we put it into the app so that you can watch it in the app. Um, so if you're waiting for Jesus to respond, here's the little wink wink to you, my friend, Maria. The mo you the answer is faith, okay? So, the simple answer is faith. What faith means when you're working with Jesus is the moment you call Jesus in, he's there. Like, that's an absolute. You just can't see, feel, hear, or you don't have trust yet that he's there. The second you call Jesus in, he is there. It's the same thing as you being blind. Okay, Maria, imagine you're blind and you decide to have a date with somebody, a lunch date with Joe. Okay. And um, let's say you're blind and you can't hear. So you're deaf and blind, and you have a dinner date with Joe. And Joe walks into the restaurant, he sits down in front of you, but because you can't see or hear, right? You're waiting for Joe to show up. And Joe sits down and he tries to communicate with you, but you can't hear him and you can't see him. And I'm like, "Hey, I just want to let you know Joe's here." And you're like, "No, he's not." And I'm like, "No, he's actually in front of you right now." And you're like, "Nope, I've already tried asking for him and he's not answering." Well, because you can't, you're deaf. Okay, well, I can't see him. Well, you're blind. Well, then he's not here. No, your senses can't sense him, but he's here. Well, how do I know he's here? Because you invited him. Okay, well, how am I supposed to then have a relationship with him? You got to figure it out. You got to trust that he's right there. You got to talk to him even though you can't see him. You got to talk to him even though you don't hear him. You have to have faith that Joe is right in front of you because otherwise, Maria, you could sit there for 10 years waiting for Joe to show up. And Joe's always right there. This isn't about you not being able to hear or see Jesus. You can't hear or see Jesus. Jesus is there always, every single time you say, "Jesus, come sit with me." He's right there. Your mind, the spiritual battle, the infiltrated energies are convincing you, my friend, that he's not there. You want to talk about a spiritual battle? Think about all the thoughts you have about Jesus not being there. You don't think that's infiltration? Jesus is right there. And deep down in your core, you know that Jesus is right there. And the frustration is that you either are not getting what you want from it, you have an expectation of what it should look like or feel like, the time frame and when it should happen. I'm going to tell you something, Maria, and I promise this. The moment you begin to trust that he's right there no matter what, so your choice and thought is that he's here, my God, Jesus is here. No matter what, okay, my friend, I don't care if you hear him or not. I don't care if you see him or not. I don't care if you feel him or not. The moment you shift your perspective, your truth, your belief, and your knowingness, that the moment I bring Jesus in, he's sitting right here. My God, Jesus is right here. You know, Jesus is right here. And you play in that reality, call me in a month, email me in a month, and let me know what's happened with you and Jesus. All Jesus needs is faith. That's all he talks about in the Bible. Faith. What is faith? The knowingness that it is done without you having an attachment or an expectation to what it's supposed to look like or feel like. That's the difference. That's the difference. Okay? My friend, we're shifting everything. We're shifting everything. You are going to choose faith. You are going to choose absolute knowingness that he is right there when you call him in. Wow, look at Jesus is here. How cool is that? Can't hear anything. Doesn't matter. He's here. I'm not seeing anything. Doesn't matter. He's here. Do you understand? Because otherwise, you're you're sitting in front of Joe, twiddling your thumbs, waiting for Joe. Did you get it? You're sitting in front of Joe and you're just waiting for Joe. So keep having that faith. And here's the other thing, you guys. the the way in which you may experience Jesus isn't how you may think it. Like, it's not this, like, profound feeling, like, "Oh my god, I feel him all the time," or "I hear him all the time," or, um, it's a subtle it's a subtle experience, it's a subtlety, it's a subtlety. All right, you guys, I must get going. Thanks for being here. Thanks for chit-chatting. I will see you next week for another episode. If you're curious about my class, it's a 4-day master class. It's called The Clearing, Moving from Infiltration to Clarity. The link is down below in the description, April 23rd to 26th. Um, and go be of service somehow today to somebody, to a stranger. I'll see you guys next Wednesday, 2 p.m. Mwah. Take care.